actually changes when you grow your business from 25K months to 50K ones? Honest answer, as someone who has worked with over 250 scaling founders to date, it depends. It depends on what you focus on and how you scale. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 big shifts that I see happen time and time again for the founders who approach this particular scaling phase the brave way. I'll also cover what I mean by the brave way and what typically blocks this for everybody else. Because here's what I sadly see regularly. Founders who have hit that 50K mark, the number that they were working towards, and they are exhausted. They are overwhelmed and they are frankly wondering what they are doing it all for. The revenue is great. The team are there. The clients are happy, but the founders themselves are still in everything. They are still the bottleneck on decisions. They are still unable to take a proper holiday without the whole thing wobbling. Yes, the business grew, but the human behind it didn't get what they came for. And what I need you to understand is that this is not inevitable. And it's not a you problem either. It's structural. It's the result of scaling without addressing the foundations underneath. And it's exactly what I want to help you avoid. So let's start by looking at the 3 monumental shifts I see consistently for the founders who get this right. The first shift is freedom. Not the do whatever you want whenever you want kind. We've still got a business to run here, folks. But the freedom to step away, to fully switch off, and know, genuinely know, not hope, that the business will not only keep running, but will keep growing in their absence. That looks like booking 2 weeks away, getting on the plane and turning your phone off, not checking in at 6 a.m. before everyone else is up. Not just a quick look over breakfast, properly off, and coming back fully rested 2 weeks later to happy clients, growing revenue, and a team who handled it, and who are, if anything, more confident and more capable for having done so. It looks like a Tuesday morning Pilates class, not a super rushed one and not on stolen time that you'll pay for later, but protected time you take because you know that a healthier, more grounded you is a better founder and therefore a better leader. It looks like evenings where you're actually present, not physically there, but mentally still in the business, running through everything that didn't get done. The business has its own momentum. It doesn't need you to provide it every day. And that changes everything about how it feels to run it. The second shift is trust. Trust on so many different levels. The first is trust in your team. They stop being people who need constant direction and start being people who run the business. They handle client relationships. They make decisions. They solve problems without calling you. The quality standards that once lived in your head are now systems that ensure your work gets delivered to your standard, whether you're involved or not. The second is trust from your clients. They are not asking for you specifically anymore. They trust your processes, your team, your business. That's a fundamentally different and much stronger position to be in, because a business that clients trust institutionally is far more scalable than one where everything depends on your personal involvement. And the third is trust in yourself. When your team is running well and your clients are confident in the business, something shifts in you too. You stop second guessing every decision. You back your own judgment and you make bigger bets with confidence. You can think more clearly and lead more boldly because you're finally operating from a place that feels genuinely safe rather than spending constant cognitive energy subconsciously worrying about things falling apart. The third shift is capacity, and this one changes what's possible for the business long term. Right now, when a growth opportunity appears, a dream partnership, a new offer you've been thinking about, an idea that could genuinely change the trajectory of the business, you probably can't pursue it. Not because it's not a good idea, but because you are already at capacity. Every yes to something new means something else breaking. So you file it away, tell yourself you'll come back to it, and carry on. Conversely, when you've scaled your business the way we're talking about, in a way that protects the foundations, the structure, the systems, the team, that changes fundamentally. There is space in the business and space in your head. So a growth opportunity appears and you can evaluate it properly. You can give it the thinking time it deserves. You can make a considered decision and pursue it if it's right. Saying yes to something new doesn't mean something else catching fire. And beyond the individual opportunities, there's something more significant happening. You're finally operating with enough bandwidth to be intentional, to look at the business clearly and build deliberately towards what you actually want from it, rather than just managing whatever's most urgent. Growth stops being something that happens to you and starts being something you are actively, purposefully building towards. Those three shifts, freedom, trust, and capacity, are what founders tell me they actually wanted when they started the business. They just got so deep in delivery, they forgot to build towards them. So at the beginning of the video, I said, this is what I see happening for the founders who are willing to approach this particular scaling phase the brave way. So let's talk about what I mean by that. At this stage of growth, the instinct is to keep adding more. You want to grow to that next milestone, so you need more clients, more team, more offers, more marketing. The instinct is to keep pushing forward, and that's what feels like growth. That's what feels like momentum. However, what's actually far braver, far scarier, and far more effective is to pause, to stop adding and start looking, to look honestly at what's underneath the business you have already built and ask, are the foundations here structurally ready to support what I'm trying to scale towards? Because if they're not, everything you add just makes the problem bigger, which, scary stat for you, is what 73% of businesses do. According to both the IOD and the SBA, as many as 73% of small businesses never escape founder dependency. Not because the founders weren't talented or driven or ambitious, but because they kept scaling without addressing the foundations underneath. They added more and the problem scaled with them. Right now, at this point, is exactly when the decision about how to scale gets made. Let's make sure you fall into the 27%, shall we? Okay, so where do you start? First, you pause and you look honestly at the foundations underneath what you've already built. That means looking at your numbers. Where is profit really coming from and where is it subtly leaking? It means looking at the work. What's genuinely worth scaling and what's draining you? On the client front, who does the business do its best work with and why? In your team, who could do more with the right systems behind them? In your processes, what needs to live in the business rather than in your head? And in your positioning, how can you attract more of the right work without starting from scratch every time? So that's the audit. That's what the brave pause looks like in practice. Scaling from 20K months to 50K plus strategically is all I talk about here. So if that's where you're at, subscribe to this channel. There's already a lot that can help you here, and there's more coming out every 2 weeks. As a CFO and operational specialist who's worked with over 250 founders at this stage, every piece of content I put out is designed to help you make this transition. From founder dependent to operationally sound, from working harder to building smarter. And if you want to look at your own business through this lens with me, there's information on how we can do that below. Here's to you being brave. Your business is ready for this, and so are you.